and it ordered that he be brought to Kgosi Mampuru within 96 hours for consultations to commence.
The court has ordered for Vusumuzi Cat Matlala to be brought back to Kgosi Mampuru. You might be thinking that they want to remove him from Ebongweni, he's going to stay at Kgosi Mampuru forever. No, that is for purposes of consultation, because it has been reported that today he did not appear for his court proceedings because he has not yet been transported back to Kgosi Mampuru for purposes of consultation.
We placed it on record that on the 26th of March, consultations were held between his attorney and the state at Kgosi Mampuru. On the 27th of March, there was a request from the team from the Madlanga Commission that they also want to have consultations with him, and the state granted that. On the 28th, when we went to have further consultations, it emerged that he is no longer kept at Kgosi Mampuru, and it was clear that he was taken back to Kokstad. And unfortunately today he was a no-show because it turns out he's not in Kgosi Mampuru, so the matter had to be postponed to 20 April. We've made a request to that effect that the court should order for correctional services, that is if he's in Kokstad, for him to be brought to Kgosi Mampuru within 72 hours. But the court saw it differently, and it ordered that he be brought to Kgosi Mampuru within 96 hours for consultations to commence.
I think all of this, in my opinion, it's definitely a stunt from his legal representatives to try and push that thing that it is going to be a disaster if Mr. Matlala is kept at Kgosi Mampuru. Because remember that, guys, these things of reminds and when person is going to appear and all of that, they're always kept in a person's possession. As an accused person, you have it with you all the time, the next court date, and even the court itself knows when you are going to appear again. I just think this whole thing is a sabotage. It's a full systematic sabotage to bring back Mr. Vusumuzi Cat Matlala to Kgosi Mampuru, because now they are going to start having a stronger case with regards to him being kept at Kgosi Mampuru forever, especially in light of these proceedings. It's starting to prove these arguments that they were making in court true, that they won't be able to consult if he's kept at Ebongweni. So the best solution would be for him to be kept here up until his trial ends, of which we found out from the letter of Jermaine Prim that that is not a good idea, because there's people that are influencing him. There's people that are making calls, making meetings with him, trying to influence and tamper with his testimony.
Is Jermaine Prim the author of this letter? Is he writing this letter on the basis of information that he is now getting from Kgosi Matlala?
What I was informed is that this person was in the same correctional facility with Cat Matlala, and he interacted with Cat Matlala throughout the whole process. In a matter of fact, what the information I have is that it was just the two of them in the cell.
Especially in light of the fact that it has also been reported by News 24 that the Madlanga Commission, especially even also the spokesperson that I just played their audio, they have consulted with him in prison, meaning that high chances very soon he's going to appear at the Madlanga Commission. So now they are pushing this thing so that he can appear as quick, or so that he can come back here, so that they can influence him as quickly as they can before he can appear. Because we know that Vusumuzi Cat Matlala is one of the bad liars we have ever came across when it comes to these proceedings. So ensuring that he comes this side, they can easily sway and actually tamper with his testimony and actually tell him what to say and what not to say. Whereas if he's kept at Ebongweni, they don't know what he's going to say. They don't know how they can construe his whole testimony. So I just think this is a preparation for him to be kept at Kgosi Mampuru, because it doesn't make sense that they didn't bring him back. It doesn't make sense because, as I've said, the correctional services, as well as the accused themselves, they know their next court date. This entire thing is a sabotage, and I think it was done intentionally, not because Vusumuzi Cat Matlala didn't know the next date of appearance, or the correctional services also didn't know the next court appearance. I think every party knew this is a sabotage to ensure that Vusumuzi Cat Matlala comes back to Kgosi Mampuru ahead of his testimony at the Madlanga Commission, because clearly it looks like very soon he's going to appear at the Madlanga. I don't know what you guys think about these developments. I'm literally not shocked that they are trying to cover up and they're trying to make sure that he does not come at he does come back at Kgosi Mampuru, and that they try to influence his testimony.
You're a crook.
I am.
You're a thief. You're a fraud, and you're corrupt. And the problem in this country today is that people like yourself clothe yourself in the respectability of calling yourself a businessman when you are nothing but a dishonest thug. You make an illicit fortune by stealing from the poorest of the poor. It's people like you and your associates that have robbed generations of South African children of their futures. Shame on you, sir. I'm finished, Chair.
Then I wanted to then speak about Nkosi, which is Sergeant Nkosi. So we know that he was raided, arrested, and he was making his first appearance in court today. So Aglenda Mate had a small brief with regards to the dockets that were found in the possession of Sergeant Nkosi, and amongst those was ICT, which is cash in transits, and also the cases that are belonging to Limpopo.
Detectives of those stations to give us further information on what role he played in relation to those particular dockets. So for now, on the dockets, he then faces a charge of obstructing the course of justice as well as defeating the course of justice.
Is it normal for a police officer to have something like a grenade in their private property? Is that a normal occurrence within the SAPS?
Well, it's not an issue if a member is in possession of a stun grenade, because for civilians it's illegal to be in possession of those. But like I've indicated, he is on suspension. So if the stun grenade belongs to the state, he should not at this time during his suspension be in possession of such, because then that constitutes a crime.
Indicates, given the fact that he was a member of the Gauteng organized crime unit, why he would have dockets from matters or cases that are in Limpopo, for example?
Well, remember, he is attached to the head office detectives unit, so that is why we are investigating further to ascertain why he would be in possession of certain dockets. Like I mentioned, the cash in transit robberies, your car hijacking cases, and other serious and violent crimes. I think what's also of concern is that he was still in the possession of a ballistic report of a cash in transit robbery that happened in Limpopo. So all these are under investigation to ascertain, because you all know that, you're all aware that he is a detective. It's nothing strange if he's in possession of dockets, but it should be dockets that he is assigned to, that he is mandated to investigate. But given that he is on suspension, then he shouldn't be in possession of any SAPS property. He was supposed to have handed in all these dockets. So that is quite a red flag as to why he would be in possession of SAPS property, which includes those dockets. And I think the question also arose in court to say, why were these dockets seized during the first raid when the defense stated that those dockets were there? Remember, on the 8th of October, he was still at work. He's a detective. So those particular dockets were in the state vehicle. And he mentioned that he is part of the team that is investigating those dockets. So the first team that conducted that particular raid did not see anything strange on his explanation as to why he would be in possession of those dockets. But now that he's on suspension, then it really raises a concern as to why he is still in possession of those particular dockets. So that is why I said our investigators are on the ground and they are conducting those particular investigations. They will be drawing all those dockets from those particular stations, your Sinoville, your Soshanguve, Limpopo, and so on, just to ascertain what may have happened. Why were all these cases closed as undetected?
Using him
those Limpopo cases
closely with General Khan in intelligence.
Because he he helped to solve problems of kidnapping, or he himself was considered to be part of the kidnapping community.
Remember that he even spoke about how Shibiri asked the police that was informing them about these kidnappings, and that's when he got
Okay.
involved.
Can you? I wanna give you. Okay. On my arrival to General Shibiri's office, he introduced me to this 1-1, and then upon introduction, it was vis-a-vis, and there and there he further informed me that this one is got information of the kidnappers. That was according to General Shibiri. And he also got the information about the illicit cigarettes that have been sourced from Zimbabwe to South Africa. He said he's handing that informant to me, and then that informant will show me or point me the addresses of the said people who are involved, some who are kept, and the said cigarettes. Immediately, myself and the informers, we went out from General Shibiri's office, because automatically that was all about that, the introduction. Then the first operation was in Limpopo, when I went to verify or spot the address where there were Pakistanis who were kept there against their will, and the illegal cigarettes from Zimbabwe. Immediately when I arrived there, as I was observing, I took the photo to General Shibiri. I sent the pin location as well to General Shibiri, so that to prove that indeed I did follow up the set address. On the very same week, the same informant contacted me about these alleged kidnappers, or who kidnapped one Chinese guy. One of the addresses now was this. The 797.
And this was very much probed by Just Carsten. He was very much worried that this man was involved in these kidnappings, and there was just a lot of red flags with regards to these particular kidnappings. I wouldn't be shocked if these cases of kidnappings or the Limpopo cases are in relations to the kidnappings of these Pakistani nationals, meaning he's kept them in his particular house even though he has been suspended. This obviously has made a lot of South Africans ask themselves a lot of questions, like where are the cases of the Hennops River case, the Hennops River officers that were unalived. We don't know to this day, but what we know is that Shadrack Sibiya was one of the officers that were at the forefront of this particular case. And we know that Nkosi and Shadrack Sibiya were working very much together. And as if that is enough, we also have another case, which is the cases of BOSHOGA, who has been kidnapped for a very long time and has been missing. To this day, we don't know where he is. Even the police officers have said that there is a lead and that, they might start going somewhere. They have some direction in terms of the investigations. But we will find that even now Nkosi has that particular case, because we know that during his testimony he did speak about this BOSHOGA case and the fact that he was discussing it with some officers It's just been corrupt, Joe Nkosi. So I wouldn't be shocked if this case also was with him as well.
Pascalson told you about the allegation that Mr. BOSHOGA may have been moved to Mr. Nange's house on the date that the police raided Mr. Matlala's house on the 6th of December 2024. You remember that?
That's correct, Commissioner.
Yes. One of the allegations, or maybe I should say it's a suspicion and not put it higher than that, based on the evidence that we have heard in this commission, there is a suspicion that on the day, the 6th of December 2024, Mr. Matlala was tipped off by somebody within SAPS that GCI Ops will be raiding his home. And there is a suspicion that you or somebody else may have tipped him off. And I want to give you the opportunity to respond to that. Did you tip off Mr. Matlala that police are coming to his house?
No.
But we've seen from the chats that the day before, on the 5th and the 4th of December, you were in constant contact with Mr. Matlala. I counted about four phone calls the day before they raided his house. What were you talking to Mr. Matlala about the day before and I think on the day that his house was raided on the 6th of December 2024? Do you remember?
Very clear,
Yes.
Commissioners. Okay. Firstly, to explain further about my constant communication with Mr. Matlala on that particular days, I remember very clear. It was the 4th, 5, 6, 7. There was a kidnapping, Commissioners, in Copperleaf of ABD, can I not mention maybe? But there was a kidnapping of a child there and his mother. I was phoned by the complainant together with my unregistered informant. They gave me a pin, quickly respond. I went there on that particular scene of crime. So as the scene was processed, the investigation carried on, where we received, or I received an information that the victims are kept in Atteridgeville. I immediately contacted General CB. I said, hey, there is this case here. I've got the location, I've got the victim. We need to act swiftly. By then, we did not know who the suspect was. General CB said to me, he's in Cape Town, but as soon as he lands, he will make a plan. Indeed, as soon as he landed, he instructed Brigadier Ramangwa to form a team. A team was formed. We followed the information. Then we went to the set address, maybe after 2 or 3 days. And then it was around those times. And then, but unfortunately, with task force and NIU, but we did not get anything in those set address. But as we were continuing, because I was personally involved there, Mr. Matlala's name kept on popping out. But unfortunately, that the complainant was, skeptical to talk exactly what is happening, because he was also closer. He was Mr. Matlala's friend. I then advised the complainant, the relevant person here is Brigadier Ramangwa. I even maybe prefer if even you don't even give me anything, because there are a lot of police officials here. We can't trust that who's leaking information to who and how. That is how I connected the complainant directly now to Brigadier Ramangwa, telling the complainant now that it's best and better to whatever that you have, give it to Brigadier Ramangwa, so that the information must not leak in anyhow, because we won't know what is happening. On the same breath, Commissioner, I've informed Mr. General Sibia that his name keep on popping, maybe verbally, but on the docket there was nothing. Then Brigadier Ramangwa and another colonel, I'll just remember him now, they moved in, they met with the family, they've interviewed the family. That is when they've decided to take the docket. And then from there, they've interviewed the mother thoroughly, the wife. The docket started to move. So now as it moves, now it starts to be between 4 and 5 of December now. Brigadier Ramanga said to me, we must call in Cat. He must come in for the interview. That is when I communicated with Cat. Imran, you are wanted in our office. You need to be interviewed, Brigadier Ramanga, and this kind of, but I'll remember this case.
And he also made two worrying things, saying that number one, he's starving in hunger, and also saying that he's fearing for his life.
Also a concern that he has been kept in custody for a period of about 6-7 days, and also the fact that he has not had any meals since he has been in custody. Is that something that police were alerted to, and is it of a concern because he says he has concerns regarding his safety?
The state provides food for those that are in police custody, whether you are at a correctional facility or whether you are at a local police station. So it's up to him whether he eats the food that the state has provided for free or whether he decides not to eat. So I don't think that is an issue, because we do provide meals to those that are in police custody as well as those that are in the correctional facilities.
But he says his life is in danger. He feels that his life is in danger.
So that should have been brought to the attention of the investigating officer. So we then have to find out whether the investigating officer is aware of that particular information. If they become aware, then they'll put those measures in place. They are highly trained, specialized, they've got the expertise, they've been working on high profile cases. We are talking about members that have been for years attached to the political killings task team, but they are now forming part of the Madlanga task team, so they know how to handle such cases. And if such information comes to their attention, I'm sure they will handle and treat that information with the urgency that it requires.
Thank you. Stephen.
And I just think that, as Aklenda Mate also clearly stated, there is no way, guys, that you can say you are starved whereas there is prison food. You can't be a prisoner and expect to have KFC, expect to have the most nicest food. You are a prisoner after all. And these crazy demands that seems as if they're coming from Nkosi, they're just worrying me. I'm so worried that he has these demands. But as I've said, guys, we'll see as the time goes by in relation to his case. His case has been remanded. He's coming back again to appear. I think I'll put in the date here. I think it's like 14th of April, if I'm not mistaken. But he's going to appear again before the courts with regards to whether he's going to get a bail or not. But from the way it has been reported, it looks like he might be fighting for bail, because he says that he is starving in hunger, he's not safe. The next moment, he has dockets, he has grenades. There's just a lot of things that he was found with. And it has also been revealed that 50,000 rands was found in his possession, but before, more than 50,000 rand was found. But in this particular raid, they found 50,000 rands.
Received a tip-off on the 1st of April that there may be suspicious activities that are happening on the premises. We were granted that J51 search and seizure warrant. On the 2nd, it was a Thursday, we executed it successfully so. And we did find, like I've indicated, those 6 dockets, the 5 originals and 1 copy, a large amount of cash, and we found that the firearms were not being safeguarded and properly kept as per the Firearms Control Act. So the long weekend, it's neither here nor there. Police officers work every day, even on holidays. So we were just enforcing the law. We were granted. How do you know?
They said
No.
How much in terms of cash was found in Mr. Nkosi's house?
For now, I can say it was more than 50,000. You'll recall that this is not the first time that we confiscate a large amount of money. The first rate, it was 385,000, and then now it was more than 50,000.
The issue of flight risk is usually...
There you have it, those live visuals.
I just think that this guy has always loved cash. If you remember, guys, even with the Madlanga, he was holding like real stacks of cash. I even used to say snoko noko because it was real stacks of cash from Umswazi. So he's just the person that always keeps cash in his house. I think it's this thing of him having dockets. He's literally selling these dockets in cash. Because with EFTs and all of that, it can trace back to you. But if you give me cash, it doesn't trace back. Hence, he has so much cash, live ammunition, firearm, dockets, because clearly, which means he's selling these things to people. Nonetheless, guys, let me hear your thoughts. Let me hear what you think. I will see you guys on my next upload. Bye.